Before we begin, here's what Alien Earth is about. FX has released the first 2 episodes of Noah Hawley's Alien Earth, and from the start, it blends homage to the original Alien with fresh additions to the decades-old lore. Whether through subtle visual transitions or a dramatic spaceship crash into a bustling, futuristic city, the series merges old and new with impressive skill, promising much to look forward to. Here is a full recap of Episode 1 of Alien Earth. Warning: spoilers ahead. Episode 1 of Alien Earth begins with us on board the USCSS Maginot, which is part of the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. The year is 2120, and this current mission has been ongoing for 65 years. The Maginot is a research vessel and has been collecting specimens for a good while now, both dead and alive. Funny, right? They're still 805 million miles out from Earth, roughly 4 months away. But the crew awakens from their cryo-sleep to serve as exposition devices to explain the state of the world. There are 4 companies, but the new kids on the block, Prodigy, aim to change the established order of power. All of these guys are vying for power and control on Earth. Beyond that, Dynamic controls the Moon, while Yutani controls Mars and Saturn. The Maginot is carrying some pretty nasty specimens that we've become familiar with now. There are facehuggers, alien eggs, space slugs, and more. One of the engineers suggests they just shoot the specimens and be done with it, but Morrow, a synth, is quick to point out that's out of the question, given the core part of their mission are these specimens. On Earth, we get a closer look at Prodigy. They have their own research island, dubbed Neverland, off from the mainland. Boy Cavalier is the one who's running things here, a trillionaire who's in the business of synths and cloning. His latest experiment involves moving the brain of a sick girl called Marcy into the body of a synthetic dubbed Wendy. The operation appears to be a success, and a new human/synth hybrid is born. Marcy is still adjusting to her adult synthetic body, but she can fall from great heights without injury, run super fast, and continues to learn more every day. However, she's still adjusting to her body. This is when things got serious. The engineers here explain that they've tried to simulate adolescence as she grows into this adult synth body, so it's not so much of a culture shock. But the reality is she's not going to feel any real emotions and won't age like everybody else. Wendy isn't alone here, though, as there are other children arriving on Neverland, ready to transition. The company wants Wendy to be the big sister for these guys and guide the kids on their journey to immortality. According to Cavalier, he's chosen children specifically because they're the perfect vessel for this journey. Their minds are elastic and still growing, while adult minds are too stiff. Back on board the Maginot, alarms wail across the ship. It's clear that the specimens have broken loose, and the crew are being slaughtered left and right. One of the synths we saw earlier, Morrow, sends a report back to Earth about the breakout. A collision with Earth is imminent, and with a xenomorph on the loose, that's not good news for us. Whether Morrow orchestrated the specimens to break out or exactly how this occurred is still unclear, but he does sacrifice the other crew members to the alien all the same. Over in New Siam, Prodigy City, Winnie has become obsessed with a guy called Joe. He works with Prodigy, and she watches him on the monitors. The reason for this fascination stems from the past. Joe is actually Marcy's brother from back in the day, and after the synth process, Prodigy told him she died. However, Wendy is still very fond of her brother, and given she still has her child brain inside this adult synth body, her idolization of her brother continues to influence her personality. However, everybody here is thrown straight into panic when the Maginot crash lands in the heart of the city. Among the first responders, who all go in with guns and weaponry, is Joe. The group immediately head to the crash site and look for survivors. On board the ship, they find bodies all over the place, but one that has managed to survive here is Morrow. He immediately speaks to Mother, the AI on board, to alert Weyland HQ that they've been boarded. He's heading for the armory and intends to wait for backup. However, he soon comes across a couple of first responders, Hoyt and Ununt, in the lab. There's a pretty grim scene of a creature slithering into the suit of one of the men, but Morrow doesn't see this. In fact, he holds them up at gunpoint, forcing them to drop their weapons and tying them to one of the pipes. Unfortunately, this bug attacks when they're incapable or moving and kills them both. The other group includes Rashidi, Siberian, and Joe, whose nickname is Hermit for some reason. and they find the cryo chamber and evidence of a chest burster. They don't see the facehugger in an adjacent chamber, though, and head off to investigate further. While Wendy is in the middle of various tests, she notices footage playing of Joe heading to the crash site and heads in to see Boy Cavalier. Despite the synths still being in the prototype phase and Adam Einz being completely against this, Cavalier decides to entertain Wendy's idea and sends her and the lost boys into the crash site. Wendy is determined to save her brother, no matter what. Thanks for watching Movie Time. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss out. See you next time for more.